Gooner REAX, I've got Jessinho with me. I love the name, by the way. Like, I don't know if I've ever told you that or not, but I love the fact that that you went with Jessinho. It works too. Like, it works perfectly. It rolls off the tongue.
Yes.
Very, very, very smooth. So 1-1 draw, first leg of our Europa League tie with Benfica. Generally, I would say poor, lackluster, just not good enough. Not good enough today. Too many mental errors, just not clinical enough, not technical enough. Just not good enough all the way around. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that, those are the feelings that I have coming away from this game. It's just sloppy, not clinical, sluggish, just we start off slow, but we never picked up pace at any point in that game. It was just a very long lull, just poor, not good enough for a team that is putting a lot of our eggs in the Europa League basket. It just didn't fill me up with a lot of confidence moving forward in the tournament. And we just have a really hard time stringing together more than a couple of games in a row, and playing well, consistently. We're the most consistently inconsistent team I've ever seen. You have the same lineup and you get a completely different, team, really. It's crazy.
I think that's, I mean it. I think that's down to fatigue, to be honest with you. These guys have played, especially the players that we're relying on, have played a ton of minutes for us, especially recently. Emil Smith-Rowe, this is still relatively new to him. It's his 11th, I want to say, start in a row, I believe. Maybe, or 11 out of 12, maybe, for him. So the legs are definitely starting to look like spaghetti noodles out there for these guys. I want your take on Aubameyang real quick. What did you think of his performance today? Obviously missing two glorious chances. Second one, I'm not really going to come down on him too hard for. I don't think that's a guarantee, but the first one, boy, you can't miss that. Like, you just can't.
Yeah, I mean, the main thing that I liked about his performance against Leeds, was his body language. He looked like he was on from the very first moment. You could tell that he was cheering his teammates on. He was leading by example. He was completely, tuned into that game against Leeds. And today was the complete opposite. This is what I fear when it comes to Aubameyang. He plays one good game and then he falls off the next game. And it's not about his ability as a striker. Like, that's fine. Like, I get that, strikers miss big chances, but he looked sulky. He was walking. There was no press. There was no get up and go. There was nothing. And quite frankly, you're the captain. So you do have bigger responsibilities than just showing up. You missed the goals. So you didn't even do your job in that respect. And this is somebody who wants to play for a Champions League team, but, you're actively hurting our chances of making Champions League by missing sitters. So I'm going to need you to be a little bit more tuned into the game. And when we play against Benfica in the second leg, I want to see a different performance. That was just unacceptable from him.
Yeah. Contrasting that to Dani Ceballos' performance today, man of the match for me personally. I don't know about you, but I thought he was a revelation. Quite frankly, I actually think he might be out front shoveling snow for me right now. He's been everywhere. So what was your take on Ceballos' performance?
Yeah, man of the match for me as well. I think Danny, he has really good qualities that I feel like if he just keeps building on them, he can become a really good midfielder. He still has time left in his career to develop a little bit more. And some of his flaws in holding onto the ball a little bit too long, I think if he takes those out of his game, he can be a really, really good midfielder. He was everywhere defensively. He's improved so much since he's been at Arsenal. And that's something that I never would have thought coming from Real Madrid and being in his earlier career, being more of a 10, being further into the offense. He's really a true deep lying playmaker with defensive capabilities, which is really unique. So I thought he played amazing today. I know that he holds onto the ball too long sometimes, but when he doesn't, he's quality. He's absolute quality.
Yeah. Three more things real quick. Thoughts on Odegaard?
I mean, we can tell that he's a really technically gifted player. He has amazing vision. And, I've always described him as, and a lot of people have said this, that he is more of an Ozil. He is the vision, the player that has the ability to find the pass. And, in contrast to somebody like Emile Smith-Rowe, who I feel like is more like a Ramsey. I think that we need a player like Odegaard to pick the lock sometimes on these teams that like to park the bus. And we're seeing his quality more and more as he plays for Arsenal. And I want to see him get more game time, especially with Smith-Rowe looking a little leggy. I think this is the time to fully implement him into the team. And hopefully the players will start to use him a little bit more. He was in space a lot of times during this game and we just didn't find him. But when he did get the ball, he was certified. He was really good today.
Yeah. The Emile Smith-Rowe penalty, harsh in my opinion, a bit. Give me your quick thought on the penalty.
Yes, I mean, it's unlucky, but if you take care of the situation before they get the corner, that doesn't happen. Him and Cedric, I have no idea what they were doing in that corner, messing around. It was a self-inflicted situation. He wasn't. I don't think he was mentally tuned in at that point. And, when I did the podcast with Dr. Raj, he said, when you're not fully fit or you're tired, you start to make bad decisions. And that's not something that I would see from Smith-Rowe a couple weeks ago when he was fresh, so I keep that in mind. But the penalty, it may have been unlucky or a little bit harsh, but if you kick the ball out and you don't, dither on the ball in that corner, it never happens anyway.
Take care of business 3 minutes before, and you don't find yourself in that position to begin with. Yeah. Here. Good stuff. You already called, you agreed with me on Danny Ceballos. I was going to ask you your man of the match. That was the third thing, but you already covered that. So, Hey, guess what? We're all done. So,
all right.
Listen, I appreciate you being here. Thank you very much for taking the time. That's it for us. We're out of here. Appreciate you.
Right. Bye.